This is a story about a network, not the kind that connects computers, but the kind that connects inventors. It is a network of people who like to make things and share what they've learned with others. And it all starts with one simple question. How do you improve upon a paper airplane? If you were to ask this question 100 years ago, you might get some interesting answers. Maybe someone would mention streamlining the body or adding a second wing. But most likely the answer would be, well, the paper airplane was the best design possible. And that's because they hadn't invented calculus yet. So how do you improve something if you do know how to calculate how the air flows around it? You can't. But by the mid-20th century, aircraft engineers had figured out how to calculate all that, and they were designing some pretty incredible planes. But here's the thing, they didn't have the internet. So how did they share their designs? Well, they made a network. This network would allow engineers to share not just their designs, but their data and their entire way of thinking. This sharing of knowledge led to even more inventions, and those inventions led to more sharing, and so on. The result is an incredible acceleration of progress. And this is how science and technology develops in general. New ideas build on top of old ones. This is the scientific method. And for the last 400 years, it has been the engine that has driven humanity forward. But there's a problem. It's not working as well anymore. You see, knowledge used to be a rare and valuable commodity, which is why people were so careful to guard it. But now we live in an age of abundance. We have so much knowledge at our fingertips that it's practically worthless. You can download all the mathematics you need to know to design a plane from the internet for free. In fact, you can do the same for almost any invention you can think of. So if knowledge isn't rare or valuable, then what is? Well, the ability to use knowledge to solve problems is. And that is a skill that is becoming increasingly rare. When faced with a problem, most people will simply look up the solution on the internet. But when you do that, you bypass the most important part of learning, which is figuring it out for yourself. Because when you figure it out for yourself, your brain makes new connections that it wouldn't have otherwise. And those connections are what lead to innovation. But if we stop teaching people how to fish, then all we'll end up with is a bunch of people who know how to tie fishing knots. So how do we fix this? Well, some schools are starting to teach the scientific method, not just as a bunch of facts that you need to memorize, but as a process of critical thinking. In other words, they're teaching kids how to fish, but it doesn't end there. Teaching kids the scientific method also gives them the ability to contribute to the network. When someone figures something out, they can share their knowledge with the world. And that, in turn, helps move the progress of humanity forward. So the next time you learn something new, I encourage you to share it with the world. You never know who you might help. All of us at Minute Earth are pretty bad at this whole social media thing, but we recently realized we could try harder. So follow us on social media to get a little behind the scenes fun stuff. Like, check this out. Our intern, Sam, is making an invention to help him get more likes on his videos. It's not quite ready yet, but when it is, we'll show it to you right here. As a kid, I spent countless hours hunched over my chemistry set, mixing and bubbling my way through countless experiments. I remember feeling so engrossed in the process, so excited to see what would happen next. But as I got older, I stopped doing science. I went to college, got a job, got married, had kids. Science became something I remembered doing, something I used to love, but something I didn't have time for anymore. Then one day I heard about a chemistry kit designed for adults. It was an experiment in a box that taught you about the chemistry of cooking. And as I went through the experiment, I felt that old feeling come back, that excitement and wonder that I had forgotten. Suddenly I was spending my evenings hunched over my kitchen counter mixing and measuring ingredients. I was taking my science out of the lab and into my everyday life, and I loved it.